Yes, lad, how you doing?
Caolan, what's up, man?
Not too bad. Sorry, I'm a bit late, lad.
No worries, man. No worries, man.
I
Everything's
literally
good.
through the door. All good, lad. Just finished a bit of training. Tough
Yeah, yeah.
day.
With the fight coming up too. How's camp going?
Really good, lad. Really, really good. This is like, cause just I just fought, didn't it? So like to be this active is fucking, it's class. I kind of into the camp fit and no injuries in the last one, so really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, are you the kind of guy that likes to get 3 to 4 fights in a year, or more or less than that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I have when I fought in Cage Wars, I had four in the year, and that's exactly what I wanted. But never got that in the UFC. Don't know. It just never really seemed to get that type of activity. So yeah, definitely this year at least three. If I get four, that'd be class. But can't be overlooking a guy like Julio Arce. But if I could get at least three, if not four, in 2026, that would be unbelievable. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and that would definitely be great for your career as you begin to climb those rankings. So, take us back to before all that. Growing up in Ireland. What was life like there, and how'd you get into combat sports to begin with?
Yeah. Well, here now I live in Belfast in the city up in Ardown, but where I grew up was like very, very less like probably what people think of when they think of Ireland. It's like the fields and mountains in the middle of nowhere. So I grew up playing Gaelic football, and I get in. It's like seasonal. I don't know if you know Gaelic football. No, you've heard of it.
Not really. No, I mean,
Yeah, it's a bit more like rugby,
okay,
but it's like our national sport. But it's like seasonal, like
okay.
most sports. So in the off season, I do boxing. But then I got a few pretty shitty injuries as a teenager, and then got into MMA that way, and then just got completely hooked in it, lad. As it was, obviously there was the whole like Conor McGregor rise at the time, and I was only like a young teenager, so naturally kind of gravitated towards it that way.
Okay, yeah. So with that, I mean, Ireland, like you said, Conor McGregor has obviously produced some incredible fighters, and you said you were a young teenager during that time. So, how did that
Mm.
environment overall shape you when you were coming up as a young fighter? Really, getting into the game, deciding if you were going to make this your career or not.
Yeah, well, it was huge. I mean, I wouldn't be a fan of him now per se, but at that time I would have been. And in school and that, his fights were mad. I remember them vividly, like they were the talk of school. I'm sure they were big in America, let alone a man from 2.5 hours down the road. Like it was mad. Changed the game worldwide, but in Ireland specifically, like took it from nothing to mainstream sport.
Yeah, you mentioned nothing in mainstream sport. Do you think that McGregor in Ireland changed the culture for combat sports? And there was, do you think there was a shift in the amount of people competing in MMA and in kickboxing? Maybe an uprise in it?
MMA certainly. Boxing has been probably Ireland's best sport at Olympic sports for a long time. This region I'm in right now,
Mm-hmm.
this like northwest, and then over to West Belfast, like the level of amateur boxing, like the medals is insane. But the kids now in the gym I'm in, Fight Academy Ireland, when we moved home about 6 months, I've been over in England training for the last 10 years. But the gym I'm in now, and the boxing coaches in Belfast tell me that boxing, the kids, the levels dropping because all the kids are in MMA. They're up in Fight Academy. So yeah, McGregor definitely took MMA to a completely different level. Like it was nothing here before that. Like it was small halls. Like it was nothing. So yeah, if you even go to like the amateur shows now in Belfast, they're sold out because the sport it is massive here. There's no one land. Fight Academy Ireland just built the facility. They probably I train all over America. They probably would rival anywhere in the world. It does. It rivals anywhere in the world. So MMA here is really big now, and he is definitely he's hated up here now. No point in lying. Up in this part of Belfast, he's not liked for some of the comments he's made about people up here. But hey, what he done for the sport, he changed it definitely.
Yeah, and you mentioned a little bit earlier about how in Ireland boxing is already super big,
Yeah.
and you also began training boxing, like you said, when you were playing Gaelic football. Yet your foundation style on ESPN and Tapology and those sites is listed as kickboxing. So tell me about that transition from boxing to kickboxing, or would you just disagree and say that your foundation style is primarily boxing?
I would say right now it's predominantly grappling.
Okay.
But the first martial art I went into was boxing. I never fought. I just trained for a good few off seasons, a good couple of like winters, you know. So I never actually fought in boxing. My first combat sports fight was in MMA. It's my first introduction to the gym. Kids from here would all do that. They'd play gag football, soccer, and then go to boxing. That would be really the three sports that young lads would play. So like everyone kind of does it, you know. But yeah, I would predominantly my main skill set would be a top pressure grappler and submission guy. I would say now, to be honest, I've kind of it's just what I gravitated towards. My body type and my physique, my build just kind of suited it, you know.
Yeah, totally. But so that's very interesting because obviously you started as a boxer and you
Yeah.
now have this really strong skill set in grappling. So tell me about the transition from boxing. You said you mentioned that you were watching McGregor and that definitely helped. But when were you transitioning from boxing to MMA, and what gym were you settling into at that time?
I first started an MMA gym. It was an MMA and kickboxing gym in my small town in Tyrone, Cookstown. I was a teenager around that time, and then but again at that time, this is me as a teenager. MMA in Ireland was only really starting to kick off. Then there wasn't really what there is now, like in the Fight Academy facility, everything under one roof. So to go in, I kind of was like the top amateur in Ireland that won all the belts. So in pursuit for like elite level training, I went to Liverpool, and at that time, the gym had. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call out.
No, no worries.
Don't know why that came through. I'll cancel it. So the hello, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So the gym I went to had the likes of Darren Till, Tom Aspinall, Mike Grundy, then guys like Leon and Fabian Edwards would come train. Like it was Team Kaobon at the time. It was probably the elite over COVID, probably the elite fight team in Europe. To be honest, it was guys from everywhere. Like the mat was crazy. Why does he keep calling me? The mat was crazy. It's my brother. The mat was crazy. So that was to just find elite level training under one roof. I didn't have to drive everywhere all over Ireland. You know what I mean? Uh, so that was really That was a next step for my training that time. Definitely. I think I was like 20 or 21, and I went a one way flight to Liverpool. And honestly, lad, I slept in the gym for 10.5 months at that time. I had no place to live. I slept in the gym, so yeah, I went from a small gyms, boxing, kickboxing gyms around Tyrone, and then gravitated over to England for like elite level training at that time, you know?
Yeah, and with that, you mentioned Team Kaobon, and you're listed under that gym on those sites. But you mentioned that you recently moved. So,
Yeah.
can you mention again what gym have you now moved to, and who are the guys that you're training with there now?
So Fight Academy Ireland here in Belfast. The more famous guys would be like the likes of Paul Hughes, fought Usman Nurmagomedov for the PFL belt. Rhys McKee fought Hamza Chimaev, fought in the UFC. Paddy McCory, the current Cage Wars middleweight champion, and then a host of younger guys. Really elite level training. We've just had Mason Jones over. We've just had a guy from Liverpool over, and it's gonna kind of be more common. I think now guys going to come because it is the best facility in the UK and Ireland, 100% now. So yeah, Fight Academy Ireland has been a really really good change. I've had one fight under them and it lasted a minute and 10 seconds there. So if it all went like that, you would take it, but it probably won't happen that, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I'm obviously hoping for this next fight that you get that finish in the first round. So I
So do
wouldn't,
I.
yeah, I wouldn't call it out of the picture for sure.
Yeah,
So
I hope so. I hope
yeah,
so.
you mentioned you're trading with all these guys over at Fight Academy in Belfast, and you also mentioned those big names over at Team Kaobon. So over there, who are you getting the most rounds with day to day, and when did you actually make that transition to Fight Academy, and how long was that before your fight?
So Mike Grundy, who fought Mozart of Loyev and stuff, he had been my main training partner for a long time. Me and him done a lot of rounds. Um, he then became the head coach. It's just the way changed, and just how I came. I'd been in Liverpool for 7 years. My girlfriend is from where I'm from here in Ireland. She was studying over there, and she was graduating. I'm moving home and getting a job in the Royal here, the kids hospital. She's a kids nurse. Starts now in July. She was moving home, and I was kind of at the point where I felt like I kind of wanted to move home. And I just took a loss, so I done a wee bit of training at home and tried up here in Fight Academy. My brother was training fighting out of here in Fight Academy at the time, and yeah, I kind of bit the bullet. Thought I'm going to give it a go. That was November last year. So I was there about 6 months before I fought for the first time in April. I was originally meant to fight in February on the Usman Alfie Davis card, but I was kind of happy it didn't happen because it gave me more time to work with the new team, the new lads. You know what I mean? So I went from November and fought for the first time in April, and it kind of spoke for itself, the results, you know. So, and I've had now longer, and that's the good thing about the PFL here, what they've done to me. I got the fight in April, and then I had like a week, 2 weeks of like chilling a wee bit, and I'm straight into training camp here again. So I got more time with them, so I expect a better performance and fucking maybe it won't go just as quick as the last one, but I expect to show more skill again in July 18th against Julio. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, this transition to Fight Academy is really helping with your skill set and your just
Yeah.
training overall. So, there specifically, who are you training with the most? I know you mentioned some bigger names like Paul Hughes. You said Mason Jones stopped by. But
Uh,
day to day, who are you really getting the most minutes with?
uh, young Miss Oliver who fought on the Belfast card, Owen. He's really, really, really good. Corey McLaughlin's a good featherweight. Scott Harvey in Cage Warriors and Matt Elliott. Um, like I say, I've traveled the world. I've trained all over Vegas, all over Arizona. I trained with Henry Cejudo's gym in Arizona with all the guys in the PI and Extreme Couture in Vegas, and the level is so high, like so high. Um, for the young lads over here. So yeah, they'd be guys that would be a bit more known over here, but a lot of the times it's the young lads who want to come get you that gives you the harder rounds. That's what I found. Even when I went over to the likes of Extreme Couture, I'd spar maybe someone like Manel Cape, and I'd be like, "Fuck, I felt real good. That gave me a real confidence boost." And then I would be in the UFC, and then there would be the young guy coming up who's maybe 5-0, who I don't know, who wants to get me the next round where I'm kind of half slacking off, and that will be an even harder round. You know what I mean? Because you're kind of switching off. So that's often the way it is in the gym. People don't. Is often the way I find it is in the gym. So yeah, I've trained with elite level guys, lad, my whole career now, pretty much pro career. So, but the level here in Belfast is unbelievable. It was eye opening, to be honest, when I first came home. Eye opening.
All right, you mentioned that you have gotten some minutes in with Manel Cape, who's fighting this week against
Right this weekend now.
yeah, against Kyoji Hiraguchi for the second time.
What a fight!
Yeah, so I gotta, you've gotten some minutes in with him, so I gotta hear your
Yeah.
take. Just, from first hearing it, what do you think about that fight?
Yeah, I think Manel will win the belt, to be honest with you. I think the only guy I think Mohammed Mokaev, who beat him, is probably the hardest fight in the world. Now, Pantoja could wrap anyone's neck. But if you want me to be honest, if it was Manel Cape versus Joshua Van, I've got Cape outstriking him 100%. Too fast, too athletic, too unorthodox. And like really, really can punch for a guy at that weight class. Yeah, he's really good, really, really probably the fastest guy I ever sparred in MMA boxing. I think I'd say probably the fast hand speed I ever sparred. But I am a massive fan of Horiguchi. His like karate feet with his wrestling. Um, he will definitely look to take down Manel Cape, and yeah, I don't even know that one, bro. That's an unbelievable fight. I go with Manel because me and him get on well, and he's got that equalizer at 125 pounds. I'd never felt that 125 I thought hit hard, but he fucking. I think it's more the speed and the snap of it, catch you off guard. So I'll go Manel Cape. I think he'd beat Joshua Van for the belt, to be honest. But I think there's a good chance that both them guys could beat Joshua Van for the belt. Great fight, though. Great fight.
So you think that this should be a title limiter kind of fight then?
Bound to be.
Mm-hmm.
Boundary. I suppose you're waiting for Pantoja to get back when from his, is it his elbow or his shoulder? What did he pop that time? So he'll have to get into
Something like that.
his.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but he landed awkwardly on his arm anyway. Um, he'll have to get his title fight because he deserved it. Pantoja, he's just completely nuts. Like he just runs at you and then puts the hooks in and gets the back. It's very hard to prepare for that. So he could do that to anyone. But yeah, I think if he's not fit to go, it has to be the winner of this would have to fight for the title next. I would think, definitely, and I'd love to watch it.
Yeah, no, the flyweight division is definitely picked up with skill and
Sick.
entertainment wise. Oh
They
yeah.
should take Mokaev back. Me and him don't like each other, but they should take him back. They need the division needs him. You know what I mean? He's one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. So he should be in the UFC.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he got removed because I don't even remember. It
He's a
was
dick.
yeah, something like that. He was just being a piece of shit. So he is, but there's a
He's
lot
good.
of dicks in the UFC though. So I mean, I guess he should show that he's able to fight.
Yeah.
So getting a little bit back on track, I'm very curious to know your nickname, the Don. Where did that come from, and how long have you been carrying that nickname with you?
Oh, so silly. I don't even know. It was a friend of mine. We just got I don't know what it was. A friend of mine started saying, and then it just, people started saying, Gone the Dawn, then it just clicked. And then this is, more than 10 years ago, bro, to be honest. And yeah, I just didn't shake it. And then now here in Belfast, no one calls me Keelan. I just get done anywhere I go. So it's been a long time going. A friend of mine stuck, and it just stuck.
So, what do you think about for that nickname? Like when someone calls you the Don, like what are you imagining in your head?
I don't even, honestly, lad, I genuinely don't get called Keelan in Belfast. Maybe my close friends back home out in Tyrone, they might call me Keelan, but not really. I get it more than, I don't even think about it anymore. It's just people say Don or the Don. I don't get my own name ever. My family obviously call me Keelan stuff, but I don't get it. I don't get it much anymore. I get Don everywhere I go. But that's alright. I don't mind. It's cool.
Yeah, no, I mean it's obviously a cool nickname. You've been carrying it for a while, and like you said, going on 10 years, that stretches back to your stint in the UFC, and you
Yeah.
had that debut in March 2024 against Angel Pacheco, and you got that win by UD in the UFC. So, what was that debut experience like, and what did getting a win in the UFC mean for you?
Yeah, that was a great win, that one. Now, yeah, just like a lifetime of hard work. I just kind of, it was probably worth the everything, worth everything, worth the training, the diet, and the commitment. Just was all worth it. And then just cool the way it worked out. It was in Atlantic City, and then the next day, me and my friends were all in New York. Then I spent the summer in New York, so I got a lot of friends there. And just my my brother was over, my mates flew over for the fight, my girlfriend, our mates in New York were all together. So really, really, really good time. Uh, really enjoyed the fight that time. Angel Pacheco wasn't even the most skillful competitor, but the toughest bastard I ever fought in my life. Oh my god! So yeah, no, special memories that time. That was class.
Yeah, Angel Pacheco coming out of Massachusetts. We only raised the toughest guys, so it makes sense that he's the toughest
So
guy.
you're from Boston, eh?
Yeah. Like 30 minutes out.
Sick.
Oh yeah.
I've been in Boston a few times.
Yeah, I'd hope so. We got a good Irish background.
I trained in Peter Welch's gym. You know it now, South Boston.
No, what's the name of it? So, cause I gotta probably reach out and get some minutes in over there.
Peter Welch's boxing gym. Sick.
Okay, it's a boxing gym.
Oh, it's the coolest gym ever. It's actually got MMA mats upstairs, but it is a boxing gym. That's like one of the coolest gyms in the world. It's like just an old school, rough and ready gym. It's sick. Peter Welch is actually the guy that got Dana White, and the guy who runs that gym in Boston is the guy. He's the one that got Dana White into the fight game for his first job.
Okay, wow. All right,
Yeah,
well,
sick, eh?
if you're ever back, fighting over there, well, you gotta teach me a thing or two.
No problem, brother. No
All
problem.
right, all right, good. So, you eventually made the decision to leave the UFC and go to the PFL. So, talk to me about that and why you made that, why you made the switch to the PFL, and what do you think the PFL does better or different than the UFC that you like?
Well, one thing I've noticed in the PFL in comparison to the UFC is they don't have, the UFC is always going to be the UFC, so like young fighters are always going to look up and like dream of the UFC. So that with that, definitely maybe can come a wee bit of like complacency. They don't really need to put in the effort because of who they are, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
I think that until the card of the weekend, the fucking Depori one, which is the best MMA card I've ever watched in my fucking life, there definitely was a lot of complacency in the UFC's cards, and even how they announced the fight, since Dana White on his fucking iPhone going live, it's an absolute joke. Some of the cards in the Apex is just disgraceful, but that's just complacency because of who they are. They have to put out the product every weekend. So, of course, naturally, they put out absolute shite half the time. Some of the fucking atom weight women's fights or the heavyweight men's fights is just unwatchable, absolutely unwatchable. So, and they usually don't have to put too much effort into them because they have so many, because they are the star as much as anything. But the PFL don't have that; they have a smaller roster. So, what I felt is they put a lot more effort into giving you opportunities. Certainly here, it's not as big in America, but the European shows in the PFL are absolutely unbelievable. Here in Belfast, Paris, Brussels, Jesus Christ, the atmosphere is insane. And when I probably big reason was what Paul done here, the Usman fights and that. When you tell people in the PFL, like fuck, that's deadly. It's big here. So I think that's one difference I've noticed. The UFC is always going to be the UFC. They're always going to have kids wanting to fight in the UFC, but because that can come a bit of complacency, and I've noticed a bit more hands on with the PFL. Like even the staff, like I've texted personally the matchmakers, the owners, the fucking media guys. Like I count them half friends now. You know what I mean? They're real good guys. So that's something I've noticed definitely.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned the Apex in particular because I can completely agree. They've put on some pretty shit cards in the Apex, especially before the
Yeah.
Freedom 250 card. And it's
Oh
funny
shit.
enough, they save the Cape versus Hiraguchi card for the Apex this
I
weekend.
know they just need to abandon that, but I suppose they don't really care. It's putting out a product every weekend. It's on TV. Sometimes people they just see the cage anyway, so in a bar they don't really care. But yeah, the Apex is shite. Thank fuck I never had to fight there. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, they save so much money using it because they own the stadium. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
Yeah,
Of
so
course.
just saving money where they can. And
Yeah.
with you, I talked to Thad Jean a couple weeks ago, and he said the exact same thing about how the UFC, like you said, will always be the UFC. And in his own words, like the matchups have not been great coming up. And to put it in nicer words, that's what he said.
You know, it's absolute facts, but like then they can put out the card there at the weekend, like Bahia and Sugar Shane and Tapuria, and it's like unbelievable. But yeah, it's just probably too much product, too much shows every single weekend. So you're gonna, of course, you're gonna have the odd shite one, you know. But it's been poor. And then, but then when they came to that Belfast one here, people after come to me saying that was fucking them fights were lethal, like just well matched, good knockouts, good scraps. It's like people was like them fights were so fucking good. I was like, I know it's been class. The European shows are fucking lethal, definitely.
Yeah, I'm actually a pretty new, or not a new as in the past, couple months, follower for the PFL since I've been getting into the content. And one of the cards that I recently watched, like full through was the Belgium one, and
Crazy.
great card, really
Yeah.
great card.
Yeah, the atmosphere in the Belgium ones, Hybora is a fucking phenom. Actually, him and Rhys McKee in my gym are going back and forth a minute. I think that might be the next matchup. I think it should be Rhys with the UFC proven. I think that would be a big fight here in Europe, definitely. Big fight.
Yeah, no, that would be a huge fight. And those European crowds, it's obviously seen, it's always been seen that's in soccer, especially with the World
Yeah.
Cup going. The fans
The
are
French are the
insane.
best, to be honest. The French are the best. They are the best. They don't like me, but they are the best.
You're giving a lot of shout outs to the people you don't like. You shouted out Makayev earlier, now
um,
France or
no, I just
Paris.
call a spade a spade. The Paris or the French are the best. Even in football, the PSG, and they're just absolutely unbelievable. In the UFC Paris or PFL Paris, when Cedric Doumbé, they're fucking. It is a sight to behold. Like they are nuts.
Are you would you consider yourself a fan of the fight game? Like, would you catch yourself going
Huge,
to a UFC event or PFL event if you weren't fighting or in camp?
huge fan. I watch every card ever. Oh, I don't miss. Watch every, not every card ever, but like I'll watch the main event at least of every card ever. I never miss. I love it.
Okay, so how far are you from Paris then, with the card coming up in September?
I fought in Paris. I fought in UFC Paris. I think I would be about, probably about an hour and a bit flight, not too far.
You think you see yourself going out there in September for UFC Paris?
Nah, unless they give me a free, unless I got a free ticket, I'm not giving the cunts ticket more.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. They didn't pay enough to
uh,
begin with. That's something. Yeah, UFC
um, but I'll
stingy over
watch it,
there.
of course. I'll watch it definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I'm look. I think Imavov's probably gonna headline that if I were to assume.
Yeah, I seen Cyril Gann calling out Tom, but they'll put that on a numbered event. It'll probably be Abu Dhabi, probably.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's no way they put Aspinall or Gone on a fight
Yeah,
night. I agree.
yeah.
So, going back, to your, stint so far in the PFL, you lost to Jack Cartwright via decision,
Yeah.
and that was back in 2025. So, how did you process that loss, and what did you take from it, moving forward to your next camp?
Yeah, tough one to take, bro. But this is the fight game. What do? You keep going. That's what shortly after that one I moved home, and then when I moved home and moved to the new gym and everything, I was kind of had a lot of new energy. So I tried to focus on that, really focus on the news more than focus on the old. I obviously had skill to improve on and develop, but I left that to my new coaches, and then I just tried to focus on the news going forward. You know what I mean? Uh, that was the last. I moved up after that fight, so uh, yeah, I was kind of just focused on my new energy, was new weight class, didn't have the weight cut there anymore, a new gym, new teammates, new coaches, new city of living in. So I had a lot of new focuses. So I kind of that was my
Mm.
focus more than the loss. Which of course I tried to focus on what went wrong technically, but I kind of try to focus on the future more than anything. You know what I mean? Keep going.
Yeah, 100%. And you obviously had all those changes that worked well for you. And your most recent fight, on home soil, PFL Belfast, you got the first round for a face crank submission. So, what was it like fighting, in front of the home crowd? And what did that win mean for you for your career as well?
It was massive. I couldn't have lost. I couldn't have lost the game in the PFL. I'd have been fucking in a bad spot. Yeah, it was like a local derby. I don't know why. I was surprised people thought it was going to be like a big fight. I knew it was going to smash Philpott, like, but he had been a big fighter here, like 2013 ish, like when McGregor started to come up. Philpott would have been like one of the big guys around that time, and he brought like a lot of like local interest, like a domestic derby type thing. So it was in the arena. It felt like the main event. Everyone is there said it. Even Dan Hardy in the commentary said this feels like the main event. So that was the best thing about it. But in terms of the matchup, I was pretty confident I was going to submit him when I got a hold of him. Um, just thank God it went so quickly. It went well, but yeah, just when he gave me his back, I thought I had him. Think went well.
Yeah, and you added another finish to your record. And looking back, you only lose by decision and you only win by finish. So, is that something you go into these fights with? You're not going to the end of the bell, finish
But you
them.
have to. You have to try to finish the guys. Like that's the end of it. You have to finish them. That's what you want to do. You want to knock them out or submit them. Definitely, it's the best way to win. It's what you want to watch as a fan. It's what I want to watch as a fan. Anyway, so that's my goal all the time. Just try to get them out of there. You don't get paid for overtime, as they say. So get in and get after them.
Yeah, and with that, obviously you have Julio Arce coming up on July 18th in Austin, Texas, who's a very experienced fighter in the PFL.
Usually, yeah.
So, how are you approaching this camp, and what does this fight mean for your career?
Huge fight for my career. I wanted someone ranked. Julio was briefly ranked in the UFC, I believe, before he fought Song Yadong. Song knocked him out, but he's not actually ranked anymore, just off the back of his loss against Alexi Grande. But because of his UFC tenure, he's probably a bigger name than a lot of guys who are. He's certainly a better fighter than a lot of the guys who are. So, yeah, really, really, really big fight. Would probably be my best win yet, to be honest. So yeah, no, I'm approaching it like the biggest fight in my life. That's the way I see it. He's a very, very, very skilled competitor. Fought some world class operators, but just think maybe now a wee bit long on the tooth. He'll be 37 in October. He's been through war after war. His last fight, he took a heap of damage against fucking Alexei Pergande. So time is a big thing in fighting. I love fighting southpaws. I can't wait to fight against his style, southpaw boxer, black belt in the ground, good neck attack. But yeah, I feel very, very, very confident. Tough fight, but one I expect to finish him definitely, 100%.
All right, so you mentioned that you think you're going to finish him, and
Yeah,
you mentioned his southpaw boxing, his
yeah,
experience in grappling. How do you think
yeah.
this fight plays out stylistically for how long it lasts?
I think I'm going to take him down and submit him. I think I'm going to be on his back and I'm either going to punch his head through the floor or rear naked choke him. That's how I see it. TKO with strikes or choke him out. That's what I think is going to happen. I think he'll get tired with the age under my pressure and I will jump on him, take his back, flatten him out, and finish him. That's how I see it. It's end of the second round, something like that.
Second round, all right. So, but are you shooting that takedown first, 10, 15 seconds, ending that early?
We'll have to be smart with it. Like he's got a good neck attack, and I think he had like a counter. I don't think anyone really took him. I think he had like 96% takedown defense rate in the UFC. So he's got a good takedown defense, but no one really tried it. Not like like a good grappler. So yeah, I'm gonna test it out, see what it's like. If he can stop my takedowns, then we'll strike. But let's see if he can stop my takedowns.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. So, you mentioned before you wanted the ranked fight, and Julio Arce is a pretty, like you said, a big name, but he's not ranked. So, with a win in this fight, where do you see yourself going? Are there any names in particular you'd like to take down next?
Yeah, Asael Adjoudj. He's been talking shit to me, the French guy. I think he's 11-1, 12-1. He got a good head kick KO there. I'll smash him up, no problem. Straight away, if you want to give me a fight in September, no problem. Or we can go back to Dubai in October, no fucking problem. To fight him. Or on this card, big Paneda. I think he's ranked number 3, so that would be a big step up. I mean, he only got up to featherweight. He's like 6'1", so he's like the biggest featherweight you're gonna get. Um, I think I'm a really bad matchup for that guy, and it kind of puts you in really good stead beating the number 3 in the division. So a sale is used or Daniel Paneda, 100% one of them two guys before the end of the year, if not both of them, 100%.
Yeah, those would two, really be large fights for you, especially with the rankings and
Yeah.
with the number 3 guy being 6'1". You're gonna have a really good advantage with getting a takedown and getting him on the ground for another, early submission.
That would be the plan.
Oh
His
yeah,
grappling is absolutely shite, like so. I definitely would give it a go.
100%. So I have one more question before we wrap this up. Before that, I just wanted to, thank you for hopping on the call and for, just your time today, man.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, like we said, you want both those guys in before the year ends if it was your way. So, in a realistic scenario, because maybe those are two really tough fights, so you get both those done. Where do you see yourself in the PFL featherweight division? You know, over the next year per se.
Yeah, well, I've been texting with Mike Hogan, and I'm getting on good with him. I don't think I'm far off a title fight, but I mean, I have to beat Julio Arce to be honest with you. But yeah, if I beat Julio Arce, it's a sale as usual or Paneda, and if I beat one of them, I think I'm probably one away from a title fight, the number 1 contender. So I can't be looking over anyone at this level. I've been the victim of that before. But if I win this fight, I'm probably 1 or 2 fights away from calling for the title just because of the name value and what I've been in the UFC and stuff like that there and the crowd I can bring to Belfast stuff. I'm probably not far away. So beat Julio Arce, lad, and I'm probably 1 or 2 wins away from a PFL featherweight title shot. Bring it on to fuck Timor Hisrev. Animal. Absolute animal. But I would love the opportunity to fight him.
Yeah, and that's only a year span. You definitely have the name value, definitely have the skill set. I would love to see you take on either of those guys and get that title shot in the future.
Let's go.
100%. So, yeah, like I said, that's all I have for today. And before it's over, before we end this call, I just wanted to once again thank you for your time. And after this fight, when you get that, when you get that win, I'd love to hop on a call and, see what's next for you.
Absolutely, brother. Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, man. All right. Have a great rest of your day and good luck.
You too, brother.
Thank you.
I see you out there.